The Minnesota State High School League adopted a policy with regard to transgender athletes. It has generated some exchange of views. There has been some controversy. We have several questions from viewers from around the state, many different communities. We're hearing from both sides on the question, and I think it's probably appropriate to simply introduce the topic by saying, my understanding is there is some legislation that has been discussed or is pending, and maybe we can have a discussion about that legislation, what its chances of passage are, and how it might interact with the policy adopted by the State High School League. Who wants to take a run at this first?
Well, I will. The State High School League went through a fairly lengthy, multi-year deliberative process, worked with lots and lots of stakeholders, worked with parents, worked with school board members, worked with the affected communities, the transgender communities, these student athletes, to find a way that transgender students could participate in athletics. A very, very important part of educational and school experience, and figuring out a way to do that in a way that makes sense. And really provided some good guidance and allows for school districts to work with their own communities and figure out what's best. And there's concern about who should be able to participate on particular teams, and then there's of course concerns about privacy and in bathrooms and locker rooms and that sort of thing. And they figured it out and made a really good policy. What this bill would do would be completely overturn that, create the one-size-fits-all, misrepresent exactly who and what transgender people are, define them in the law. This bill was developed without any consultation or conversation with the transgender community or the LGBT community, and purports to dictate exactly and define who people are without any scientific evidence. Just says a boy is born as a boy and a girl is born as a girl, and that's just not who and what transgender people are. I think we've got a really good policy. It was very difficult. Lots of different perspectives were taken under consideration, and to come in as a legislature and just completely turn that over is wrong-minded. It really puts a lot of pressure and shows a lot of disrespect and makes it even harder to be a transgender student in our schools, and I just think it's not appropriate. It's not going to go anywhere in the Senate.
To get to the bottom line from the Senate perspective, you don't think it's going to pass the Senate?
No, it absolutely won't.
And I'm the lightning rod on this because it's actually in my bill.
We should have started with you. Anyway,
no, by all means. It doesn't be me saying. There was a lot of things that Senator Dibble said, and I'm not going to try and so much respond to it, so I apologize. There's just a lot of little bits and pieces that I hopefully can address some of the concerns that he has. My bill is really intended to do one thing. I believe that the Minnesota State High School League stepped outside what their authority is. They did some things that the legislature should be doing, and they made some determinations that are actually against, if anything, some current Minnesota state law. So what this bill, and this was very carefully crafted, spent a lot of time trying to craft this so that we make sure that we don't hold anyone in harm. There's no one that we're excluding out on this. All it basically does is it kind of has two parts. It says, number one, and it does define it as biological boys and biological girls throughout, but boys will not play on girls' sports teams. And when it comes to bathrooms, locker rooms, or other places where there's state of undress or privacy issues, that boys and girls biologically will convene in their individual places. And it also has a portion where it does address the transgenders, where there's people that feel that they don't fit that definition. The schools are called on to accommodate those situations. So there's no one that's being excluded in this. There's no one that's being held out as being different or anything like that. This is a way that we can hopefully have some order in our schools, which I think most people would agree that schools need to have some structure and order. I believe that the Minnesota State High School League did something that created actually more problems for our schools than they solved.
Like a lot of social issues, times come and then you have to make some decisions and so forth. The Minnesota State High School League looked at this very thoroughly. In fact, they copied much of what they do in college. I think a lot of it was a collegiate type of thing.
No, that's not true.
But I don't think what we should be doing is overseeing what the Minnesota State High School League does. So are we going to set up new competitive districts? Are we going to decide how long basketball games are, those type of things? I have not had one athletic director come to me and say, I disagree with what the Minnesota State High School League did.
And I've had several.
Yeah. I haven't had one.
Okay.
And so I think it might be in the eye of the beholder sometimes. But I just don't think it's right for the legislature to start dictating what the Minnesota State High School League does as far as activities. And I haven't heard from any of my local districts on this issue, and I wouldn't support a bill that
You wouldn't
would
support
change
it?
that.
Well, I hope that we don't minimize this to the point to where we're comparing where our children are showering and going to the bathroom, with which sexes are doing that with, to the length of a basketball game. So that does concern me, but we'll move on beyond that. But I do have a concern in the fact that we have a lot of students that aren't transgender, and I don't want them to feel uncomfortable with where they go to the bathroom and shower and things like that neither. So I've gotten a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, and most of it's centered around the bathroom facilities and the shower facilities. And I think that is a concern. But I certainly don't want to minimize this to the point to where we're going to look at it like it's how long do we decide how long a basketball game is, or how many minutes people can play. There's a big difference between that. But
Well, and
in the Senate,
there's a bit of hypocrisy, because last year we passed a bullying law, which basically said schools, even though you currently have bullying policies, we believe that there's a state interest in putting control and order in our school in this form or way. And now this year, suddenly, it's hands off on the schools. And I don't understand the logic on how those are
Well, I can
independent.
First of all, the representation of the bullying bill is somehow dictating all of the parameters and policies of the is a misnomer and a myth that's been perpetuated about the anti-bullying bill for a long time. It gives tools, it gives some minimal expected standards, but school districts are directed to craft and create those policies and promulgate them in conversation and in conjunction with their own communities and their own parents, just like the State High School League policy does on transgender student athletes. And to say that somehow biological boys who are transgender are boys is simply showing a level of misunderstanding and disrespect for the experience of what it is to be transgender. Boys are not clamoring to get into girls' locker rooms. That is not what is happening here. And so I would just ask Representative Miller and everyone else who is interested, have a relationship with the transgender community before you proceed on taking steps like this.
How are you not aware that I don't have a relationship?
Because you wouldn't have written the bill in the manner that you did.
Oh, okay.
I would just say, let's have a reasoned conversation and not put things in law that send a signal to these young, daughters and sons of Minnesota parents that somehow they're less worthy and it's something negative.
Any other thoughts on this? If not, we'll move on.
I'd like to talk budget. If
I was going to say, there's lots of thoughts, but I think the viewers want to hear more. So.
My guess is, I don't want to jump in here, but I think my guess is that there's not going to be any persuasion here. We can probably move on.
Right. Yep, absolutely.